Hi, welcome to FilmSauce. I'm FilmSauce, and in this Sauce video, I'm starting my Friday the 13th tradition by doing Friday the 13th, released in 1980. So yes, every Friday the 13th, I'll do a video on this franchise. Friday the 13th, directed by Sean S. Cunningham and written by his best friend, Victor Miller. And don't forget about Ron Kurz, who did some uncredited rewrites, is a famous pop culture slasher horror franchise with its main man Jason doing the murderous rampaging. Starting off in this movie, F13. That's short for Friday the 13th, by the way, chat. Just using slang. Throughout this film, I also reward or negate source points, and at the end of this video, I'll tally up those points to see how saucy this movie really is. But now, grab a can of 80s Coke and relax to FilmSauce of the 13th. Friday the 13th. The movie starts off in 1958, the amazing time when Brazil won the World Cup and Elvis was still alive. But now we watch basically the opening of Jaws, but instead of singing songs around a fire on the beach, the camp counselors sing songs around fire in a camp cabin. The ingenuity. But two camp counselors lusting after each other decide to run upstairs and make babies without the storks. The couple makes out while the cameraman, late for production, slowly makes his way upstairs and decides to stab the guy, then killing the girl using Dr. Freeze's freeze ray or something. Now we're in the present. Not our present, but the past present. Anyway, it's Friday, June 13th, and we meet this gal, Annie, played by Robbie Morgan, who's in this town looking for directions to Camp Crystal Lake, or how the oldies say it, Camp Blood. Elderly people, go to the retirement home already. But this nice old kinda creepy truck driver agrees to take Annie to Camp Blood. On the way to the ride, Annie bumps into the one, the only, Crazy Ralph, who warns of a death curse. Real prophet of doom, ain't he? On the drive halfway to Crystal Lake, the truck driver decides to drop all the lore about Camp Blood, with the two kids who were murdered in the opening and an unseen drowning of some little kid or something. And someone keeps committing arson. Now that sounds like a fun camp experience. Drop off your kids today at Camp Blood. Annie now is dropped off, but who cares about her, because now we meet some of the other counselors driving at Camp Blood. Marcy, played by Janine Taylor, Ned, played by Mark Nelson, and Jack, played by Kevin Bacon, the guy who fought graboids that one time, and is from the hit movie Loverboy. These 1800s Red Dead cowboys arrive at camp when they meet the man running the whole camp operation, Steve Christie. But hey, remember Annie? Because she is successfully hitchhiked with some guy who drives past the route to camp. And Annie, realizing she must be in a car with the Friday the 13th serial killer, Jason Voorhees, who must have gone to the Michael Myers School of Driving, is here to kill Annie. Anyways, Annie jumps out of the vehicle and runs through the forest until she is caught by Jason, who slits her throat in a gnarly effect, which was crafted by the amazing Tom Savini, who was so epic he got a skin designed by him in the Friday the 13th game. Please revive that game, my lord, Jason. Now we chill out with our still living camp counselors, who now include Bill, played by Harry Crosby, Alice, played by Adrienne King, and Brenda, played by Laura Bartram, who sadly died from pancreatic cancer. So rest in peace, you were taken way too soon. The teens hang around this cool camp, which was brilliantly played by Nobi Bo Sco in New Jersey, which is still operational. So that's cool. What's not cool is the counselors kill a snake, and not some prop snake, but on screen they killed a real living snake. And this story is more tragic, with the snake handler who was unaware of the snake's fate, but once informed was incredibly upset and had to be held back. I've never had to talk about real deaths that happened during filming in my short career, but in justice for the snake, I'll negate 5 source points. But to cheer me up from that, it's a funny joke, right?
Well, at least we know what's for dinner.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. Anyway, a cop comes into town thanks for stopping this shit. But this cop is gone as fast as it came, so who's gonna entertain me now? These teens? Oh, Crazy Ralph, thank goodness you were here. I was beginning to be bored by this movie until you showed up. Hell, I'll ignore the fact you're hiding in a pantry. Just entertain me. Wait, no, come back. But hey, it's starting to storm. See that thunder flashing on Kevin Bacon's face? Anyway, Kevin shows Marcy his bacon, while Alice, Brenda, and Bill play some Monopoly.
Strip Monopoly.
Oh yeah, also while Kevin and Marcy are testing out the bed spring sound, we are shown Ted's body right above the couple, who now stop filling the meat pocket because Marcy has to go pee. And hey, you know the rules and so do I, because sex equals death. So goodbye to Kevin Bacon, who is Jason under the bed, giving him a reach around. Who reaches around holding his head so an arrow can stab Bacon's neck, killing him in another gnarly effect done by Tom Savini. And because the effects are so good, I reward a source point for the Savini. We catch up with Marcy again, who's doing some accent in the mirror.
I said, Lizzie, you'll always be playing.
Probably celebrating that she's the first Friday the 13th girl to have sex in this franchise. But she is now attacked by once again off-screen Jason with an axe. And like, cool effect, but we want to see the hockey mask man. Stop all this off-screen killing. We know it's him. Brenda now turns in for the night when she hears someone calling out in the middle of the night. So she goes outside in front of her archery target, but the camera cuts away with Brenda's scream echoing. But I'm sure she'll push through. Alice and Bill now look around the camp, finding a bloody axe, and that there is no way to escape or call for help. But hey, I've forgotten him, but the guy I only mentioned once, Steve Christie, has been in a diner all night, and has finally returned to camp, where he is killed with an off-screen stab. Back with Alice, she begins her final girl circuit, in a way, by finding Bill's body stuck to a door, thanks to some arrows. Oh, and now we find what's left of Brenda, who's briefly played by Tom Savini when thrown through a window. But the scene has great music. When I hear it, my body oozes with the Friday the 13th feels. And this music, composed by Harry Manfredini, carries most of the franchise, plus 2 source points. But outside the cabin, there is a car, which Alice runs up to, finding a sweet old woman, played by Betsy Palmer, who only agreed to this role because she needed a new car. Just what a great woman, who sadly passed away in 2015, so rest in peace. But now this sweet lady tells Alice the sad story of a little boy who drowned at this camp, because counselors were too busy exploring each other's bodies, instead of exploring the ideal practices of a responsible camp counselor. And yeah, because of that, this boy Jason died. But wait, that is the killer of the franchise. You guys should run away before he catches you too. Wait, lady, what are you doing wielding a knife? Oh, she's Jason's mother, and the killer of this movie instead of Jason. Silly me. Okay, but Alice and Mrs. Voorhees now enter a sort of cat and mouse chase. More of a cat and rabbit cat chase, where the fight enters onto a beach where the ladies beat the shit out of each other. Until Alice ends the battle in slow-mo by grabbing a machete and slicing Mrs. Voorhees' head off. My Mrs. Voorhees, your son really does get his hands from you. Betsy Palmer, despite thinking the script was garbage, still gave a great performance as Mrs. Voorhees, so I added 3 source points for this, and all the sequels she appeared as Mrs. Voorhees in. But now Alice lies in a kayak in the middle of Crystal Lake, with the police now arriving, and everything is okay.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Never mind. Zombie Kid Jason brought her to the bottom of him. But that might have been a dream or something, as the police never found a boy, and she's in hospital now. But I'll add one more source point for the Jason ending, as the film itself ends. Now that was FilmSauce Friday the 13th, 1980, a film which starts off with the pop culture legend that is Jason Voorhees, from when he was just some plot device kid, and not the murderer. But hey, it's source point time. Friday the 13th gained a total of 7 source points, so hooray for slashers. But it did have some disgusting gunk in there, as 5 source points were negated, landing Friday the 13th, 1980 at 1 source point. And that was FilmSauce Friday the 13th, 1980. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. Maybe I'll see you again. Goodbye.